Let's start off exactly why Microsoft, relative to some of those other mega cap names, and we know so much attention, at least when it comes to AI, has been put on NVIDIA, which we should point out is outperforming Microsoft this year by like 5-1. Why Microsoft?
Sure. Yeah, good question. I think at the end of the day, as we think about the tech group as a whole, AI has been a big driver. But ultimately, Microsoft is really on the eve of a major Microsoft Copilot launch here in November. The reality is we kind of need proof points of success for Microsoft to justify buying more GPUs. So this is going to be a major product launch that really justifies investment in AI. If Microsoft can't justify that investment, we're doubtful that any software company will work into year end. So we're quite bullish. Early feedback on Copilot has been positive. That's really the catalyst that you're playing for here. You also have some easy compares. Remember the December quarter of last year in their non-cloud business. This is still a $100 billion business.
Yeah.
It was actually down 13% year over year. So with an easier compare, we actually like the setup where Microsoft could actually have an improvement in their growth profile, one of the few in software, going into year end in that December quarter.
I am curious, and we should point out we get Microsoft earnings next week, I believe next Wednesday or so. I am curious here, Brent, about kind of the diversity of its business relative to some of the other mega cap peers. Does that work to its advantage, or does that maybe hamstring them a little bit in terms of efficiency?
Listen, you could argue that PCs have been a drag on Microsoft for 2 years. If you look at the last 2 quarters, you're actually seeing sequential improvement in PCs. So I think the diversity of the platform, they're now adding a very big game developer platform, gaming platform, Activision onto the platform as well. That's just going to only further insulate earnings power, we think, over the long run, and really help this business, which is a very large business, continue to kind of grow, potentially even at a sustainable 9, 10, possibly 11% kind of growth profile over the long term, and really drive profitability meaningfully higher.
So, Brent, a lot of reasons to like Microsoft here, but I guess the pushback would be that shares are already up, 37% or so this year, that the good news is already priced in. How would you respond?
Yeah, listen, our view is pretty simple. The reality is Microsoft has to and needs to show that these AI investments are going to drive incremental revenue. And we're on the eve of that proof point with the launch of M365 Copilot. Yes, if you look at the large cap software groups that we cover, on average, those stocks are up 30%. But ultimately, if you think and believe in this AI market, you can't essentially fund additional AI investments in GPUs unless these software companies start to generate incremental revenue. So ultimately, it's going to hinge on proof points that come out of November and December on the magnitude of folks that are interested in Copilot. If you think about the installed base, 160 million E3, E5 subscribers out there, every 5 million of those that add Copilot could add about $1.5 billion of incremental revenue to Microsoft. So yes, part of the AI optimism is baked into all of these software names. Microsoft, though, will be the very first one to show monetization, we think, starting here in that November, December timeframe. And so we think that will be a catalyst.
Well, Brent, to that point that, of course, Microsoft has the first mover advantage here, how wide is that gap? Because also to your point, I mean, there's a lot of other software names that are putting a lot of money into AI right now.
I think the debate really in software is going to be who can charge for the incremental features when a lot of functionality is going to be at parity. Large language models are democratized, meaning every application is going to have a conversational intelligence within the next year or two. And so which of the companies are actually going to be in a position to monetize that feature? That's a debate. Right now, you're seeing companies like Workday and HubSpot, they're adding AI features, in some cases for free. So we think Microsoft, with their outsized position, over 80% market share in productivity tools, is really going to be in a better position to monetize and drive value from AI.